And we also had a title that was tough. The title was ultimately blamed for the lack of opening.
Jim, did you ever worry that you would be fired if a movie did not go well?
Absolutely. Absolutely. It's usually the marketing side that tends to take a lot of the brunt when a film doesn't open, which is, I find, kind of ironic. It's not the people that made the actual product. It's the people who are marketing it who are usually the first on the guillotine. And it's usually the head of marketing. If you've had a series of movies that haven't done well, I had a very long career at the studio side, 10 years with Castle Rock and 11 years at Warner Brothers. So I had a lot of, insight, I think, into the 22 years I worked for a movie studio. And no movie studio goes through a year with a 100% success record. It's a very, cyclical business in general. Some years you're lucky where you get movies that are just happen to, connect with the audience, which is great. Other years, I remember Warner Brothers, we had a series of movies that just were not doing well. And everybody in the marketing department in particular just started, kind of whispering to each other, the bosses, we really need to make this next one a hit, whether it was a good movie or a bad movie. The pressure is, first of all, is to open all movies. It's an impossibility. Again, some films have more marketable elements than others. The case study I use is the Shawshank Redemption, which is a beloved film today. I mean, #1 on IMDb is the most popular film for years it's been. So the playability of the Shawshank Redemption was always sensational. When people saw it, they loved it. Consequently, we did not open that movie. I was at Castle Rock. It was a platform release, which means it was only on 33 theaters to begin with. But the per-screen average of those 33 films, which were predominantly in New York and LA and Toronto and Seattle and major cities, the initial performance was not good. And that movie had a lot to overcome from a marketing standpoint. Its marketability was challenging. We didn't have big stars. Morgan Freeman was not a big star. Tim Robbins was not a big star. We had a first-time director who also wrote the screenplay, so we couldn't bank on Frank Darabont. The whole movie virtually takes place in a prison. It's very dark. It's very claustrophobic. It can be very depressing a lot. It was extremely violent. There was only one female character in the whole film, and she was on screen in not the most pleasant way for about 30 seconds. So, and we also had a title that was tough. The title was ultimately blamed for the lack of opening. People didn't know what a Shawshank was. It was based on a Stephen King book. Well, Jim, why didn't you use Stephen King's name? Well, Stephen King was noted for being a horror meister, and still is the man there. But the Shawshank Redemption, as most people know, you would probably not call the genre a horror. Is more of a thriller, certainly a drama. And so these are just some of the many, many issues we had to overcome with this case study of the Shawshank Redemption. And back to your original question, so after that didn't open, when you had a great movie to work with, the thoughts of losing your job are very real. Blame and credit are two incredibly huge commodities in Hollywood. Certainly money is too. But I have found that in the studio world, people want to be the white knight. They want to write in to save the day, especially marketing, especially if you've got a movie that's problematic. Maybe it's not tested well. Maybe there aren't a lot of marketing elements in it. So you want to be the hero to come in and come up with a brilliant campaign of fabulous poster, a great trailer that gets people talking and starts building interest. So that's, a bad streak will definitely make you think about your paycheck and the loss of it.
Sure. And I might add, this was mostly before, online sort of chat and movie rating and amateur film critics and things like that.
Yes, yeah.
Which would present, it sounds like a whole new bag of worms, or for a filmmaker, if the movie does well, but then for some reason there's a group of people that don't like it, that could present a lot of problems.
Yes,
in today's landscape.
Absolutely, absolutely. Reviews are an interesting aspect of it too. If a film is poorly reviewed, it used to affect the performance of an opening weekend a lot more when there were critics like Siskel and Ebert and Two Thumbs Up, Two Thumbs Down, and the Time Magazine and the New York Times and the LA Times were very influential at helping us market and open films. Today that really doesn't exist as much. I think Rotten Tomatoes, if anything, is probably the one thing a lot of consumers look to before they put down their money for their $17 ticket or if they buy a Netflix subscription. So, as I sit here and talk to you about movies in general and theatrical movies, it certainly applies to the streaming world and television as well, which is, as we all know, has become almost interdependent, and the same thing applies, the same thing applies to marketing campaigns. You market a film, most of my career is for theatrical releases, but the same marketing concepts for the most part, apply to streaming films, Netflix, Hulu, Apple Plus, Disney Plus, all the platforms where you can pay one at some time or another, where you have to pay for this product, this film, to enjoy. A lot of the same principles of marketing still apply to all of those things. Yes, a lot has changed also. We were talking earlier about social influencing and, certainly digital advertising and other things have come into the world of marketing as streaming has blown up. At the end of the day, they're very similar. Theatrical release, in my opinion, especially creatively, you still need a great trailer, which I still believe is the most important tool in a marketing campaign.
And it can work to film's favor as well. I mean, I did not know about Agatha all along until I think I saw someone do some type of reaction video or something, and then I became interested in it in a positive way. So it can also, someone can hate on something, but then it can also like it, and then you can find it, and then you've clicked on it, and now you'll be shown nothing but that.
That's right. Exactly.
So, it wasn't something I was totally aware of until now. Now I am, but it took me seeing somebody do a little short clip about it.
Yeah. I mean, just to bank off this a little bit, I teach college students and who don't go to the movies a lot. They're busy, they have other interests at this, they're 20 to 22 years old. And when I start class by saying, "So, who went to the movies? What did you see?" And most of them don't even raise their hand. They were either studying or they were watching a film on their phone or their iPad or at home on television. And we talk about that too. But so I'm kind of, I spend a lot of time with this generation of moviegoers who are, it's a struggle to get them into the movie theater. It's expensive, Once they got you for a $15 ticket, they're going to get you for $20 worth of popcorn and Coke too, which is the main reason exhibition is there. The movie ticket is only a part of their income. So it's been fascinating to kind of be at Chapman and to kind of witness through my students, their feelings about movie going and how they're marketed to. And certainly, you know, the ability to control the message has changed since social media has been in our lives. So they're in a movie theater when they go, and their friends aren't waiting for a review to come out. They're probably not even looking up Rotten Tomatoes to see if the film is well regarded. They're getting a text from their friends saying, "Oh, I'm sitting here in watching Wicked, and it's 10 minutes in the film. It's really good. You should come." You know, so that's word of mouth that's happening almost instantaneously, that the studios used to be able to control better. We can't control that now. That message is in the hands of the consumer like that. And so marketing has changed dramatically in regards to that word of mouth.
Will they go to the movie theater with family and friends? If maybe an older generation is going, will they begrudgingly or
I think so.
willingly
You know,
go
we're
along?
coming up on, Thanksgiving, and the kids will have a week off and they'll go home. And they'll probably go see, Gladiator 2 or Wicked. Which one they go see is going to be the interesting thing to me, because those are two movies competing on the same date. So, you get together as a family and you decide which film you're going to go to, or you split up in the multiplex, which is absolutely possible, and you see the film you want to see. But I think when they go home, I think they do go to the films with either friends that are also coming back from college for a break, or with their family.
Yeah, and not to be a downer, but sometimes people don't have family to go back to, and going to the movies is a wonderful holiday treat.
Yes.
And you're sometimes in the theater with like-minded people, or they're by themselves as well.
Yeah.
And so for me, some of my fondest memories are seeing a movie alone, whether it's a Saturday or a holiday, whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just interesting, the different generations.
I think escaping to the movie theater is still one of the great, pleasures in life. It's one reason why I made it my career.
Yeah.
I saw Star Wars one day, and that was it. That was it. And a lot of people my age in the business, they'll tell you the same exact story. They were in their hometown, and this crazy movie that we'd been hearing about was at our local theater. We went. I remember, it was at the Orange Twin Theater, about 2 blocks from where I teach now, ironically. And just kind of, I went to a matinee. I went by myself, just like, I don't know why. Just, I guess nobody else wanted to go. I really wasn't a movie buff until then. I was a jock. I was more interested in sports and girls and things like that. Cars. And then I walked out of that theater into the blinding light after being in George Lucas's universe for 2 hours, and I very quickly came up with a new career plan. I wanted to be a part of that. I didn't know how, what, or whatever, but it had a massive impact on me. And I think a lot of people in my generation in the movie business had that same experience. Yeah.